Hey everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of A Plus Wrestling here on A Plus Productions. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and this week I am joined all the way across the pond by Yorke. Yorke, how's it going?
Bullshit! No, I won't say that. I'm not nicking Matt's gimmick. I am good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Just a little tired. It's been a very busy week. Got back from Vegas, which was a great trip. Really needed that downtime, that personal trip, not work trip, which was great. And then just hit the ground running this week with work. And then it's been busy. It's been busy. And this weekend we have a very busy weekend in the world of pro wrestling. And that's what we're going to be talking about on this show. We also have some feedback later on, but we are going to be starting things off with kind of a preview of all of the wrestling happening this weekend, which includes WWE's Saturday night's main event on Saturday night. We also have NXT Battleground on Sunday and AEW Double or Nothing this Sunday. How does that sound, Yorke?
Like it's a lot of wrestling.
Right? It's a lot. It's a lot.
Sounds like a lot.
And again, I think it's important to always say, like, we're at that point now where just because it's wrestling doesn't mean that you just have to watch it for the sake of it being wrestling, right? Like, watch what you want and you will be happy. Like, that is honestly the best way to take things and just the sheer amount of content at this point.
Yep.
All right, let us start.
Yes, indeed.
Let's start with Saturday night's main event. Pretty strong looking card here. I think this weekend WWE is spending the weekend in Tampa. So let us run through the card real quick. We have a cage match. Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest.
I'm not gonna lie. I think this match is the only one that is not easy to guess who will win.
Yep.
I think the other three matches are pretty like self-explanatory. So I don't know. I in my head, I'd like Drew to win, but I think Damian will win. Yeah,
I think with Drew taking the match at WrestleMania, Damian is going to win this one to kind of like put an end to this story. But I want Drew to win. I think Drew deserves it. I think Drew deserves a lot right now. But I do think Damian Priest is going to take this cage match on Saturday night.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be, but it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt Drew if he takes the loss.
Look, it's going to be similar to the Bad Blood match with CM Punk, right? Like, I think it's going to be a great match that will hurt no one in the end. So, we'll see what happens. But again, I want Drew. Drew just deserves a lot, right? He doesn't get the credit he deserves. But, same can be said about Damian Priest to a certain extent.
The only thing that would make this match even better if it was like the old school blue cage.
Yeah.
From Saturday night's main event of old. Do you know the
Big Blue? The Big Blue?
Yeah, Big Blue.
Exactly. I remember that cage. I love that cage. Saw that cage live a few times. Always looked cool. All right, the next match for the undisputed title, John Cena versus R-Truth.
R-Truth's going to win, obviously, isn't he?
Right. I think this is going to be a great match. I think this is going to be a sleeper match. I think people forget how good of a wrestler R-Truth really is. This is like kind of, quote unquote, years in the making. So it's one of those matches where while the result might be incredibly obvious, I think it's going to be a fun match regardless.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's... They might just do a little squash. I hope they don't go that route. I hope Truth gets some offense in. But I think it's pretty easy to see who's winning.
Yep, agreed. All right, then we have CM Punk and Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. This match is going to be good. Paul, what are you thinking?
I am thinking we are going to see Sami Zayn join up with Seth and Braun.
That's what I'm thinking. I think it's time. Pull the trigger. I like that idea. I like that prediction. Let's go with that prediction. I think that's what's going to happen. Screw CM Punk. The other thing that I can see happening, obviously, is the return of Roman Reigns in some shape or form.
But why?
Exactly. We don't need him right now, but I don't know.
No.
We don't need him right now. Yeah, but I think it's time to turn Sammy, and I think this will be a great time to do it. All right, and then for the world title, we have Logan Paul versus Jey Uso.
Again, in my eyes, it's Jey Uso to win. I don't want to see Logan Paul anywhere near the world title.
Agreed. That's what I'm thinking as well. Yeah, man. So that is a Saturday night's main event. 4 matches. 2 hours, going to be a fun night, I think. They've done a pretty good job of Saturday night's main event, but one of the things that I'm a little nervous about is, having all these title matches similar to Battle of the Belts, right? Where sometimes it just doesn't feel big knowing the results right away, right? Like, especially with these title matches. But again, as long as the matches are good, and these are like high profile matches, unlike Battle of the Belts, or it's kind of like all mid card for the most part.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, so it doesn't matter that the results are easy to figure out. I think we know that all the matches are going to be good.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what the results technically are going to be.
That's it. That's exactly it, right? That's what we always say. It's sometimes even knowing the result, that doesn't. If the match is good, it won't take away from that. And in fact, it'll add to it because they were able to kind of suspend your belief and suspend what you already know is going to happen. So hopefully that's the case here on Saturday night's main event. Let us go into any last words there before we move on.
I was just thinking. I reckon R-Truth is going to get a pop similar to. Do you remember? I know it's a while back, but 2012's Elimination Chamber.
Oh yeah.
The last 2 people were Daniel Bryan and Santino.
Yep.
And Santino hit Daniel Bryan with the Cobra, and the crowd, even though on paper Santino shouldn't have been anywhere near that match, the crowd was just insane because there was that slim chance that Santino could win.
Exactly.
And I think we'll have a moment similar to that with R-Truth. I hope we do.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping. If like they again, it goes back to what we just said, right? That whole suspended belief part. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens. Should be a good night there. Let's move on to Sunday. We'll talk about some NXT first. So here, man, quite a few matches here. All right, so we have Josh Briggs and Hank and Tank. Versus The Culling. That is a 6-man tag match happening.
This is just to get Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen facing up, innit?
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Was it? Yeah. You don't think they'll get back together, do you?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, God, it'd be awful if they did.
I don't think so.
They were terrible as a tag team, there isn't. Yeah.
Right. And
I do think the Culling will win, though.
Yeah, they should. They've taken quite a few L's. I think the Culling needs to get that win here. So I agree with you there. All right, a next match, a grudge match. Stax Lorenzo versus Tony D'Angelo.
Well, yeah. I had so much hope this, and then it's built to nothing, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, right. It started off really hot at Stand and Deliver, and then it's kind of just fizzled. It really did fizzle big time.
I think Stax wins because you can't just turn him and then just have him lose straight off. Oh, can you?
Yep.
I'll pick Stax.
I think Stax is going to win, but I don't know. I don't know where they go from there. Where does Tony D'Angelo go from there? I think Tony really does need, the family and everything around him. So I'm not sure what the plan would be.
I don't think this is a one and done. I think this is going to be a couple of matches, which is going to be terrible.
That would make sense. So yeah, I think Stax is gonna win, but I'm not entirely sure. Again, let's see where the story goes from there.
Yeah.
All right.
Next match.
For the NXT Women's North American Championship, we have the champion Sol Ruka versus Kalani Jordan, the former NXT North American champion.
Both females are really good at what they're doing at the moment. I can see these two being the face of the women's division in a year or so. Mm-hmm. I don't think it'd be the right time to take the title off Sol. Obviously, she's only just won it the last PLE, so I would be picking Sol to retain.
Agreed.
And I think we'll get a Kalani heel turn.
I can see that. Would be cool. It would be cool. Again, remember, NXT is developmental. They can experiment with people's characters. Look at what happened with Roxanne Perez, right? She kind of bloomed as a heel. I'm not saying that Kalani Jordan isn't blooming, but you know, it could add dynamics to that character, and she needs a little something.
Yeah, I was going to say she's starting to stagnate as a babyface.
Yep, agreed. All right, there we go. The next is for the TNA World Championship, fresh off their confrontation at Under Siege in Brampton, Ontario, just outside of Toronto and Mississauga. We've got Joe Hendry, your TNA champion, versus Trick Williams.
Well, they're not going to take the title off Joe on an NXT show, are they?
Look, if they do, that is the ballsiest move humanly possible. I don't think it'll happen. It shouldn't happen. And I really hope it doesn't happen. So, Joe Hendry.
Well, to be fair, they did it with, what was it? Did it with TNA and AEW, didn't they?
Yeah. But that was different, right? That was a different relationship.
Yeah.
So, I'm guessing your pick is Joe Hendry?
Oh, yeah, my pick's Joe. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. All right, let us go to the NXT Women's Championship match. This match should be match of the night, in my opinion. That's Jordynne Grace versus Stephanie Vaquer.
I don't know who's going to win this. On one hand, I want to think Stephanie's going to retain. On the other hand, I think Jordynne may win, and Stephanie goes to Raw or SmackDown.
Right?
Because, don't get me wrong, while she's good, she's only been there that couple of months, really, hasn't she?
Yep.
And she's far better than any of the women on there. So, no disrespect to Jordynne at all. No disrespect whatsoever, because obviously Jordynne is at that level as well. But Jordynne's only just been there like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed. So
my mind says Stephanie Vaquer, but my heart really wants to see her on Raw or SmackDown ASAP. But you know what? I think Stephanie is going to retain. I think she'll stay in NXT a little bit longer. And again, it'll be interesting to see kind of where they go with Jordynne Grace at this point.
I'm gonna, just because we've agreed on everything so far, I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Jordynne Grace.
I will. Yeah, I'm gonna go Jordynne.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, and for the NXT Championship, we have Oba Femi versus Miles Bourne.
Oba. Oba's my man. I disagree. I am not picking anyone against Oba, ever.
Right? Like, this is one of the guys I can see. I know it's happened in the past where he comes up to the main roster without losing the title. Like, I honestly think he's going to be one of those guys where he literally says, I've got nothing left to do. Peace out, NXT.
The only time I will possibly go against Oba, maybe, is if it was against Gunther. Yeah. And even then, that would be a difficult decision.
Yeah. Agreed. I need
to see that match.
That is NXT Battleground. Any final words before we move on to AEW Double or Nothing?
Did I go to bed? No. I'm joking. Let's do AEW.
All right, let us do AEW. This, man, look at those small cards that we just went through. And this is going to be our Sunday night, Memorial Day Sunday, right before the day off on Monday. And I think a lot of people are going to need a day off after watching this. How many matches do they have right now? They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 8. God damn. And there's going to probably be a couple matches announced over the next couple days. But let's go through the already announced matches. We have the Anarchy in the Arena match, Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Shibata, along with Willow versus the Young Bucks, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Marina Shafir.
Why? We'll go Death Riders and Bucks. I don't know what to say. It's a bit of a shit show of a match.
That's what these matches will be, right? They always happen. People praise these matches. I can't stand these matches. It's just too much going on. And at the end of the day, all it is a big setup for blood and guts. So there's no, I don't see the point of this match outside of it, it's it being a step to blood and guts, which kind of, give it to the heels now so that the faces can win at blood and guts.
Are they going to have the split screen like they did before with 4 different screens?
Probably.
Oh, God.
All right. Just too much. Too many people. 1, 2.
I'm going to pick Death Riders because I think Gabe Kidd's going to get involved and help Death Riders out.
Yeah. He should get involved.
I'm surprised he's not in the match, to be fair.
I'm shocked he's not, actually, to be honest, as well. But, yeah, so Death Riders, I guess. We'll go with Death Riders, both of us here. All right, FTR versus Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. FTR,
my boys. I are going against FTR. I don't care if they're heel or babyface. I will always cheer on FTR. Yep. It's good to see Nigel McGuinness back. I know he's I should be supporting him as he's a British boy, but I'm going to pick FTR.
Yeah. It's hard not to, right? It's hard not to, but I'm going to go with Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness on this one. I think FTR should win, but I have this weird feeling Garcia and McGuinness will eke out a win. They get their asses kicked to have Copeland show up and save them or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. All right, we have a stretcher match because why not? Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe.
Ricochet.
Yeah, he should win. He should win.
I'll be honest, he's doing his best work since going to AEW.
Absolutely. I agree.
His Twitter game's terrible, but his in-ring game has got so much better.
Yeah, I try to avoid
be a good heel.
I try to avoid anything he says on Twitter. It's I think he's trying too hard to still be like the MJF type of heel, but he just can't, and he just comes off as a moron.
Yeah.
That's really what I think he's trying to do. But yeah. All right. Well, yeah, Ricochet should win. Push Ricochet really hard at this point. And a match like this, Mark Briscoe, stretcher match, the cockiness he can get, the way that his character can evolve after this would be awesome. Because that's what Ricochet is at this point. He's just like that squirmy asshole. So yeah. All right. Women's World Title match, Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa.
Toni Storm. It's hard to bet against her at the moment. I think obviously they're aiming for the big match at All In. So I'm going to pick Toni Storm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard not to Ray. It'll be interesting to see who takes it from Toni Storm, and I know that there's a lot of Mariah May hints at this match, but I really don't think it's going to happen. I think Mariah May is destined to WWE at this point. Yeah, I don't. And what's the point of bringing Mariah May back at this point, right? What is she going to add, to this? She's had her time with Toni Storm. There's no point in this. But to keep intrigue, you might as well keep those hints dropping.
Yeah.
All right, for the AEW tag titles, the Sons of Texas, which is Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes versus the Hurt Syndicate.
Well, the tag division in the AEW has just gone down, hasn't it?
What used to be the heart and soul of AEW is really taking a beating, and Hurt Syndicate is helping it. Let me say that. But I don't feel any heat. I don't feel anything about this match. I don't care about this match. The Hurt Syndicate there's so many other people I think that they could face.
FTR.
Yeah. Anyone.
Yeah.
I have zero emotion with this match. This match was kind of hastily built up, and because of how fast it was built up, I don't feel anything.
Yep, I agree. I'm picking Hurt Syndicate because they're the champions.
I don't see Guevara and Dustin getting the titles at this point, like the AEW ones. So there's Hurt Syndicate as well. All right, for the Continental title, we have Okada versus Mike Bailey.
While I know this is going to be a good match, I don't see the point in it.
Yeah,
I don't see the point in the Continental. I don't see the point in the Continental Championship. The sooner they merge that with the International Championship, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still Kenny that's got the title?
It's still Kenny.
Right, yeah, I'll just check. Yeah, that has to be the match at All In then. So this match is a non-entity for me.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it'd be a good match to watch. But I'm picking Okada to win.
Agreed. I love Mike Bailey. But there's no way that Mike Bailey is going to win this, especially leading into All In, right? Yeah. All right, then for the Owen Hart Tournament finals, we have the men's final: Adam Page versus Will Ospreay.
I'm going to say this is the main event. I'll go back Will Ospreay to win. After that promo on Wednesday, he has to win that match.
Yeah, has to. I think we're Will Ospreay's the heart and soul of AEW at this point. He's got to take the W. Love Adam Page's work right now. I like him as a heel, but you can't go against Will Ospreay. And then for the women's Owens tournament finals, we have Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Moné.
This is so unfair because I love me some Jamie. I think she's brilliant. I think she was on such a high before her injury the other year. And then that injury just killed any momentum whatsoever. And then they brought her back at All In last year on the fucking pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
And that just killed any momentum whatsoever for her.
Yeah,
and it's only just...
The return, you can see the air deflating from the balloon since her return because of how she returned. It was cool, but it being on the kickoff or whatever they call it, it just felt underdramatic. It just felt, it just happened.
Yeah, and now they've started to build some more momentum around them and just throw it to Mercedes. I've got no charisma, money.
Yeah. So
don't get me wrong. The thing is, we know it's going to be Moné versus Storm at All In.
That's the thing. Pretty much having said that, what we just said about Saturday night's main event, I'm going to say about this, right? Mercedes Moné has been getting better and better in the ring again. Even though Mercedes Moné is most likely going to win, I still think that the build to that match, or to the end, should be good. It should be a good match. I'm hoping.
Yeah, but I'd rather see Jamie against Tony.
Of course. Hey, maybe they'll throw us a swerve, right? Mercedes Moné is still the TBS champion. Are they going to have her as double champ in AEW? I feel like I've answered my own question in my head as I said that out loud. But, there's a small chance Jamie Hayter could win. And let's take that momentum and wish it into reality, Yorkie.
I'm going to say this. It depends on which match goes on first. So I think if the Owen Hart, the women's, if Jamie Hayter and Mercedes Moné is on first, if Jamie Hayter wins that match, then Mini Shirakawa is going to win the world title. And I think if Tony wins, then Mercedes wins. Do you know what I mean? it's going to be one or the other. If Jamie wins, Mina wins. Tony wins, it's Mercedes.
There you go. I like that. All right. Anything else on AEW Double or Nothing before we move on to some feedback?
How long do you reckon that pay-per-view is going to go?
At least till midnight.
Are we talking
at least
4.5 hours?
At least till midnight, so 5 hours.
Oh, dear.
Right?
Why does Tony think a 5-hour show is good?
I don't know. Honestly, with more pay-per-views, look, when it was 4 pay-per-views, like if this was fine, whatever. It was still long. I was still bitching, but I could understand. But now with more and more pay-per-views, right? It's just becoming more work. Having said that, when you do charge $60, $70 for a pay-per-view, you got to make it stacked. You can't do what WWE does and have like 3, 4, 5 matches, right? That's kind of the problem that Tony is facing. Until they get a full streaming deal for the pay-per-views, this is what we're going to get. Yeah. We're going to get 20 matches, 6 hours.
How long before AEW bring out the first 24-hour pay-per-view?
The full-on marathon. There we go. I'm sure they have a roster big enough for that.
Yes, they do.
All right, let us go to feedback. Some feedback here again. Thank you so much for leaving feedback, for leaving comments, for your thoughts and everything else. Best place for all of that is on the Facebook group. And for that, all you need to do is go to facebook.com and search for A Plus Productions. All right, so this week, some cool, awesome words. Scott Alderson saying best wrestling host. Matt Eder with a joke about me going to Cypress Hill. And we had Blaine. He says a lot of wrestling this weekend for sure. Solid back and forth promos from Paige and Ospreay, with Hangman delivering probably the best one of his career. It'll be interesting to see if they close out the NXT show with a TNA title match. I think it's a distinct possibility because I do see a title change happening. Dominic Mysterio has to be the luckiest SOB on earth, not only having 3 hot women, not to mention his wife after him in the last 2 years, but an entire box of chicken nuggets. Saturday night's main event just feels like a transitional show, to be honest, and kind of just getting in the way of the build for the actual pay-per-views. These events don't have the same impact that they did 30 years ago because we're spoiled by these same matches every week. I remember a time when recognizable wrestlers only faced each other at house shows, or you had to wait 4 months for the next pay-per-view. Yeah, I get that, right? I get that sentiment. That was eons ago. That was a generation ago. That was a different time in pro wrestling and TV. It is hard to build like good, meaningful matches when you see everyone each and every single week, right? And WWE tries to do that by not having their champions wrestle each and every single week. But you know, it's still hard because you still see them. At least having Cena on this retirement tour and the way that his retirement tour is working, I get it. And his matches kind of feel a little more special. But again, we see these guys all the time. Like, remember Yorke back in the day? You'd see Hogan, like once a month, if at all?
Oh, I remember. I still watch. If you go into WWE Vault, they have episodes of Superstars, and you'd see. I used to look for. I used to like. This is the nerd in me. I used to keep note on who turned up when.
Love it.
And I'd be like, oh. So I've never seen him like on Superstars before. Oh, that'd be good. I'll watch him. And then the next week, the Berserker. I'm like, ooh. And then the next match would be the Rockers against. Obviously, it's how we got to know Barry Horowitz, Mike Sharp, Dwayne Gill, and all the jobbers. The classic guys, right? Like the classic losers, and whatnot. But yeah, it was rare. But it was rare seeing the big main eventers on Superstars and things like that, right? So, that's the thing. We're not into like. Can you imagine if they just kept everyone off TV just because they're main eventers and you want to build up their aura, so to speak? So it's a different time. But I do get what Blaine is saying. I do understand it. But it's just this is how wrestling is now, right? That's just how things are going to be. Scott Ainsworth, a awesome listener all the way from across the world. Scott,
I wanted to give a huge shout out to your mom. I know she isn't doing well. And I just wanted to say that the entire A+ family is thinking of her. Thank you for your listening. Thank you for your comments and your messages. And we hope the best for you, your family, and your mom. So, Scott, we're thinking of you. All right, Yorkie. Anything else you want to chat about before we close things out? And not any Europa finals? Because that match was trash.
That match was horrible.
Oh, it's horrible.
It just goes to show that Man United only played really well against European teams, not British teams.
Right?
Because
that was my takeaway. And it was an own goal. It was an own goal that made them lose their spot in the Champions League. Like, it's so poetic. And as a United fan, it's just I can't help but laugh and cry all at the same time.
The only other thing I want to say, what I found funny about this whole thing, Harry Kane left Tottenham because he wanted to win trophies.
Yeah.
Right? In the year that Tottenham finally won a trophy, Harry Kane actually won a trophy with Bayern Munich. It was like Harry Kane won a trophy, and then Tottenham were like, no, I can do it too. And then they go and win Europa League.
Yep.
It's quite funny.
There we go. All right, Yorkie, any final words?
Pumpkin.
Love it. Again, we have so much wrestling. We're going to try to do some review shows this weekend, sprinkled throughout the weekend. Again, tons of wrestling. And watch what you want to watch. And don't bitch about everything. And again, huge thanks to all of our listeners here at A+ Wrestling and A+ Productions. We're not here without you guys and gals. Honestly, that is why we do this here on A+ Productions. Huge thank you. A+Productions.com is the best place to find out all things about A+ Productions and A+ Wrestling. Again, things are happening in the background. We're going to be really pumping things up here on A+ Wrestling. If you want to be part of the conversation, the best place to do that is by going to the Facebook group, facebook.com, and searching for A+ Productions. On behalf of the entire A+ crew, Yorkie, and everybody, thank you guys and gals for listening. But most importantly, stay tranquilo.